Governor Rochas Okrocha, Governor of Imo State. Well, he's not the only person that was suspended by the NWC of the APC. The sitting minister, Usani Uhuru Isan, who is also seeking to be on the ballot in Cross River State, has been suspended. Let's get some other people to weigh in on this matter. Joining me here in our Lagos studio is a lawyer and a political analyst, Mr. Curtis Adigba. And from our Abuja studio is a chieftain of the APC and a former lawmaker, Mr. Cletus Obun. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on the show tonight.
Thanks for having me.
What is the implication, legally speaking, of this when someone who wins a ticket, the party seat, a seat in the Senate, going into Senate is lost the party membership, because suspension means that you are for a moment not a member of the party pending a final decision. Legally speaking, where does that kind of senator-elect stand?
Well, first of all, let me appeal to the APC as a party. They shouldn't be in a hurry to forget what happened in 2015, shortly after the election, when things appear to have taken a turn for the worse. We must not go on that path again. They have to be very, very careful. Now, having said that, when you then suspend people who have just won election on the ticket of your party, you have to be extremely careful. We shouldn't forget that in the case of Amechi and the PDP, the Supreme Court said votes belong to political parties. And to that extent, parties own their votes and they can give it to whoever they want to give it to. But then, when you then suspend a candidate and you say he's no longer a member of your party, what you have done is to remove the cloak of the political party from that person. Now, thank God at this moment it's still about suspension, which is itself an inchoate action. If it is an expulsion, then he has no party, and if he has no party, if he was not sponsored by any political party, he cannot contest election.
What he has contested an election.
That's what I'm saying. That look,
he has a seat in the National Assembly, presumably.
And that's why they were careful not to escalate the issue to expulsion. They knew that. So they knew that they were going to create a bigger problem for themselves if they expel them. You understand? So they stopped at suspension.
But do they deserve suspension?
Well, I don't look.
Considering what happened, the public display that we saw in Ogun State and Imo State, some leaders of the party were stoned, obviously, especially in Ogun State.
Seun, I think a yes or no answer won't do justice to what is going on. Because even those who try to enforce this rule have themselves been beneficiaries in the past. We have agreed in this country that we have a problem. The singular problem of our democracy within the party structure is the strength and the control that the governors bring into their political parties. And don't forget that in the past, a former PDP chairman, Bamanga Tuko, saw this as a problem also, and he tried to rein in the governors. The governors fought back, and he lost his position. You see, the governors are so powerful, not only in the country, but also within their political parties, because they also control the delegates, and they control the party structure at the state level.
All right. Now, sorry, let me pause you for a moment because we need to take a break. But when we return, we shall be discussing more of the implications of the suspension of these governors and the sitting minister and the APC's fortunes ahead of next Saturday's governorship election. I have a lawyer and a political analyst and also an APC chieftain from our Abuja studio. But we'll get also more reactions. Join us again, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. The decision of the APC NWC to come down hard on some of his governors and sitting member of President Buhari's cabinet gets us talking on the program tonight. Let's continue with the conversation, everyone. One of the ministers has also reacted, or the minister involved has reacted to the decision of the NWC through his director general of his campaign organization, Ekpayong Kobams. Take a listen to his own stance.
Putting it to you that no organ of the party has communicated either on the decision purportedly by the NWC or on the allegation asking him to come to defend himself. It is a process that starts from your ward to the national. It doesn't start from the top down. So constitutionally speaking, by virtue of the extant laws of APC, absolutely nothing has happened. The problem is not peculiar to Cross River State. In all honesty, it's very regrettable that the activities of the national chairman has bred a high level of discord which has threatened the fabric of the existence of APC as a party. But not for God, it would have affected our fortunes in the presidential election. All of these problems can be hanged on the inadequacies and the determination of the national chairman to constitute himself to law when that is not supposed to be. The laws are clear. But as we speak, I don't know the motivation of our brothers on the other side of the divide. But my principal and his group, we have been in pursuit of justice. Our claims are based on the law. And that's why we have been sustainable. We felt that what the national chairman and the NWC were doing was not proper, so we sought redress. And you're a witness that the national chairman opted for arbitrary action if he wasn't called to order by the president. That if somebody feels aggrieved, the Constitution gives him the right to go to court. In that regard, we have 2 court judgments in our favor, and our brothers on the other side of the divide do not have any judgment that has any consequential benefit to them.
That's the Director General of the Ustani Uhuru Campaign Organization. Also, Mr. Osita Okechukwu, the Director General of Voice of Nigeria, who is also suspended by the party, has reacted. He did say, look, he cannot be suspended because, in fact, he is also a strong member of the party campaigning for President Muhammadu Buhari. So let's get the conversation forward. Mr. Katrisa Digba is a lawyer and a political analyst, has been talking to us. From our Abuja studio is Mr. Cletus Obun, a member of a chieftain of the APC and a former lawmaker. Is also a member of the Cross River APC. Let's get your reaction on this suspension. Is it right for your party to come hard in this way and at this time? Timing is what some critics have asking. Is it the right time for the NWC to act on this?
Hello. I am in a position to speak audaciously and authoritatively on the issues involved. This suspension was suspended on account of the presidential and National Assembly elections. Clearly, it is long overdue. Not even in the village square age grade meetings do you expect and accept members who flagrantly flaunt their ego to undermine the group interests. As far as I'm concerned, and as far as anybody in Africa political science history is concerned, Oshiomhole remains a political fumigant. Oshiomhole is a political fumigant, authoritative, fearless, and courageous. And the timing couldn't have been less. It cannot be elections and politics without development. Adams have added to the corpus of our democratic development in this country by the singular fact of his courage that we have an election in front of us and he took on everybody and we moved on to the governorship election and he has to take these decisions which in ordinary times will be dangerous and very injurious to the party. But he has discarded the political gains and profits of the moment for the future of Nigerian democracy and the development of democracy in the largest black democracy on earth. Therefore, the suspension couldn't have been more timely, couldn't have been more audacious, and couldn't have been more courageous at this point. Those who are crying foul about the suspension should rather bother about whether the party can win elections on account of what has happened. If your hand will cause you to sin, take off that hand. If Imo State, Cross River State, and Oyo State, or rather Ogun State, can get us into this mess in which we are going into, there is our jurisprudence, our legal system has made it very clear that the party supremacy cannot be undermined. Now, let me give you a typical scenario. If the APC candidate for Cross River State or Imo State won his primaries clearly, and upon investigation and evidence, the party discovers that that candidate has no certificate. In Shomolu and Surulere local government of federal constituencies in 2011, we lost members on account of the fact that their credentials were not correct, because the party didn't take the decisive decision at the proper moment. The opposition party, PDP, went to court and showed that the man's credentials were not correct. Therefore, if the party discovers that the candidate is going to cause us problems at the final stages and decides that you cannot be our candidate, it is wrong for anybody on account of his position.
Honorable Obun, let me come in here quickly. I have the constitution, copy of the constitution of your party here, and if you look at the procedure of suspending a member, like a governor of a state, and the question will be, can the National Working Committee, does it have the power to suspend a sitting governor, a sitting member of cabinet, and the presidency? And a big question is, a lot of the reaction is that this is a vendetta of some sort. It seems we are so let me come to Mr. Adigba here. If you look at what is happening in the APC from before we get back to Mr. Obun because of the connections, can the NWC of the party, based on their constitution, suspend a sitting governor, a sitting member of cabinet?
Look, Sheng, even before we get to that point, look, any member of the party can be suspended if you establish a clear case of anti-party activities. But then you have to follow your own constitution. You don't just suspend party members from Abuja. The constitution of the party is very clear. You have to start from the award level, and then sequentially move up to the state, to the zona, to the, and then to the party headquarters. Yeah. But look, what is leading to all this problem? I was going to talk about it when we want to, before we had a break. The fact is, I think the APC will need to sit down and do a holistic appraisal of the situation. Obum said the timing couldn't have been much better. I disagree. I disagree because I think the timing is wrong. Yeah, you might have a good purpose, and you might have a good cause, and want to discipline party members. But the timing is also very, very important. And the reason is because why didn't they do it before the presidential election and the nationalship as assembly election? Why? Because they wanted to go into that contest as a body, no matter the difficulties that their relationship had. And I would have expected that for whatever it is worth, the party should have made effort, serious effort, to close the gap in the relationship with some of their members. Now, suspending them at this time is not going to help the cause of unity. All right?
Even when they are erring.
Look, I understand that they are erring, but then we should also look at their grievances. And they might not be right. People don't, you see, sometimes...
Does the party NWC have the capacity to say, you have erred and we discipline you?
Yeah, but the party also had internal mechanism for resolving some of these problems.
What if they have gone through all those mechanisms?
Then they should follow the process listed in their constitution for suspending.
Let me go back to Mr.
So if they do that, I don't have problem But these guys are saying they didn't do that.
Okay. Mr. Obon, the question is that of procedure and the reaction from some of these suspended members that this is a matter of vendetta, not a matter of law or matter of procedure.
Now, Article 9 of the party constitution, which you are holding there, will tell you the procedure. In Cross River State, I'll give you a clear example. In the case of Cross River State, the state chairman of the party wrote to the national body about the crisis they have in Cross River State and demanded that the suspension issued by the Cross River State chapter of the APC should be supported by the national body on account of the misdemeanors. I'm quoting the state chairman's letter to the national chairman, that the misdemeanors of the minister of Niger Delta was costing the party its fortunes in the elections. That was before the presidential election. In 2017, this minister was summoned by the State Working Committee and the State Executive as sitting minister and was given a warning letter before the Oyegun administration left. And on this administration, this executive presently, after the death of the state chairman, Dr. Achigbe, may so rest in peace, this acting chairman, Ochala, also issued another letter to the national chairman demanding this. What does that tell you? What is the procedure? There are issues, even in parliament, which are prima facie, which is to say, they are acting in the front of the party. When the national body brought the president to campaign in Calabar, as you are aware, there were people, even when the flag was issued to a governorship candidate, there were flags of another candidate. And this sitting minister has not even resigned. This sitting minister has not even resigned as minister. 30 days to the day. So even if he wins this election, assuming without conceding, what that means is that the opposition will use the party constitution, the electoral act, and the Nigerian constitution to take out that candidate. So will you expect the party to respect that kind of position in which you have to wait until you are taken out and be a sitting target for anybody?
Yeah.
Like I insist.
Mr. Obum, which is more difficult? If this guy has been doing all that you have listed here, why is he still a member of the Federal Executive Council? Because he holds his position at the pleasure of Mr. President. Why didn't the president just remove him from the cabinet and say, look, you are a bad egg in our party? That solves the problem, at least to some extent. This is the strange thing happening to the party, that the president had to wait until this moment for the party to... Don't forget that in the party constitution, once you go to court and submit a paper against a party without following the procedure for internal resolution of crisis, as you drop your paper in court and leave the court, you are no longer a member of the party. That is embedded in the party constitution. But as I speak to you, somebody has not resigned. Somebody has come out and paraded himself without the National Executive Committee.
Let's take a pause on this conversation. There are some other issues. I'll come back to you in a moment.